Good evening, everyone. It is Monday, and I'm so grateful for Monday. It is always my take a breath, start over. It's a new day, it's a new week. I've got this day. Um, I hope that you had a wonderful Monday, and I hope that you are looking at today and deciding, you know what? I don't care what happened this weekend. I am starting anew today, and I've got this. Okay. We have been talking about fat this last week, and we're going to continue it this week. Fat is actually an extensive topic, and so we have split our blog up into two parts. So if you haven't checked that out yet, please check it out at triplethreattransformation.com on our blogs. We have some wonderful information for you there. And so we are doing our second half of our series on fats. All right, and we have talked about several topics when it comes to fats. My favorite one is the aged cheese because, I love cheese. And so we talked about that last week along with some other things. And today we're going to talk about why is it so crucial that I balance my omega-3s and my omega-6s, okay? First, let's have a little bit of a recap, okay? So there are different types of fats, all right? We have saturated fats, and those are our animal fats and our tropical oils. And those we want to keep to less than 10% of our caloric intake for our fat intake. And then we have monounsaturated fats, which includes our olives, avocados, peanuts, ground nuts, and tree nuts, all right? And then we have polyunsaturated fats, all right? These are our omega-3s and our omega-6s, okay? Omega-3s are like flax seeds and fish oil, and omega-6s are from seed oils, okay? Now, omega-6s, they are the pro-inflammatory fatty acid, okay? Now, I know that sounds awful, but it is necessary. The awful thing is when we have too many omega-6s, and that's where we get a lot of inflammation, okay? Inflammation, yes, it does happen when, say, you drop something on your foot, okay? Your foot's going to inflame for just a little while. That's chronic or acute inflammation, okay? That is necessary, and that's what omega-6s are there for, to help your body heal and recover. However, when we have too many omega-6s, we end up with chronic inflammation, okay? This can show up in many, many ways. It can show up in autoimmune disorders. It can show up in having massive fatigue, all sorts of things, okay? And many of our diseases are actually connected to chronic inflammation, which is due to having too many omega-6s in our diets, okay? But like I said, they are necessary. We have to have them because that's what our bodies use to heal from injuries and to recover from our fitness routines, okay? Now, omega-3s are anti-inflammatory, okay? So it's going to keep your inflammation down, all right? So if you have any kind of chronic diseases, autoimmune disorders, or whatever it may be, omega-3s are especially your friend, okay? And that's going to really help to solve that chronic inflammation that's going on. Okay. Now, there are different sources of omega-3s. We have plant sources, which are ALAs, okay? They are flax seeds, chia seeds, hemp seeds, and walnuts, okay? So there are some great plant sources. But there also are marine sources, which have the EPA and the DHA, which is actually the more beneficial omega-3, okay? That's what's really going to help with the inflammation. Those come from fatty cold water fish, and algae oils. All right. And then other sources of omega-3 is actually human breast milk, which is why it's so important for infants to have it, because they're going to get that EPA and DHA, and that's going to really help with their brain development. All right. Now, why? Why do we need omega-3s outside of the fact that they are anti-inflammatory? Okay. Well, as we discussed last week, our cell membranes are actually fat-based. Okay, so they're made of fat, and so we need the fats to keep them fluid, all right? If they're not fluid and they're rigid, nothing can get through, all right? They actually need to be fluid so that way our nutrients and everything else can get through, all right? So omega-3s help keep your cell membranes fluid. This is beneficial because your nutrients can get through, helps your metabolism, but it also helps like serotonin be transmitted easily. Okay, so when we have disorders that keep, depression and all that, we want to make sure that our omega-3s are high so that way our serotonin can actually be transmitted more easily. Right? Helps with brain development in infants and children, but it also prevents or slows neurodegenerative disorders in us as adults. So it's definitely beneficial for us as well. Okay? And then it can increase our insulin sensitivity as well. Omega-3s also play a role in cardiovascular function, nervous system function, and immune health. All right, so they are essential to us. Now, fat balance is crucial, okay, because like we talked about, the omega-6s are pro-inflammatory and omega-3s are anti-inflammatory, right? The American typical diet is actually closer to a 20-to-1 ratio, meaning we have 20 times the amount of omega-6s, which are the inflammatory, to 1 of the amount of the omega-3s, which are anti-inflammatory. Everyone say hi to Alice, okay? She's sneaking in again. She's going to come up and say hi. All right, so we actually have it reversed where we have a 20-to-1 ratio, and we have a lot more of the pro-inflammatory omega-6s in our diet. Reason being, all right, omega-6s come from plant seed oils, okay? And that is what all of our processed food is cooked in. Things like corn oil, soybean oil, safflower, sunflower, all those oils are omega-6 fatty acids, which in and of themselves are not bad, but the amount that we are consuming is causing all that pro-inflammatory omega-6 to mess with our bodies and put us out of balance. And then especially since we're really not consuming very many omega-3 fatty acids because fatty fishes just aren't in our diet as often as they used to be, we are definitely having a ratio that is completely out of whack. She's just going to sit with us and join us. All right, so researchers have actually guesstimated that indigenous diets had a 2-to-1 to an 8-to-1 ratio in favor of omega-6s. Like I said, in our industrial diets, we're actually up to a 20-to-1 ratio, all right, because of our processed foods. All right, so how do we improve this ratio? What can we do? So the first thing, and I know you guys are probably sick of me saying it, eat fewer processed foods. All right, the processed foods have things like corn oil and soybean oil, and even your healthier options that have safflower or sunflower oil, they are still omega-6 fatty acids that you are getting in large amounts into your system through the processed foods. So one way to do that is to eat fewer processed foods. And then also your fats, your oils that you use to cook in, more beneficial to have avocado oil, olive oil, those things, because that'll help your omega-3 or your omega-6s to be lower. They aren't omega-3s, but it'll keep your omega-6s lower. All right. Another thing we can do is eat more varied plant and animal foods. Try your best to get in some fatty fishes into your diet as much as possible. And then even having like wild game in there helps. Ensuring that the meat that we get, because we are what our food eats, all right? So cattle that are fed a lot of corn, you're going to get a lot of the omega-6 in there, but you do pasture raised, you're going to have a much healthier balance of the omega-3. Same thing with the eggs. We are what the chickens eat as well. So if they're eating a whole bunch of corn, well, you're getting more and more omega-6s through eating that chicken or their eggs. And so having free range and all that will help keep the omega-3 balance a lot more in check, okay? And then the big way to do it is to supplement with omega-3s, especially ones that are created from fish, krill, or algae oil, because like I said, you can do flaxseed omega-3s, but it's got the sources ALA, whereas the fish and the algae and the krill have the EPA and DHA, which is the most beneficial form of omega-3s, okay? So supplement with some omega-3s to help you out with that. We have some on our must-haves page, so if you go to www.triplethreattransformation.com, we have a must-haves page that we have a great omega-3 supplement on there for you that'll help keep all that in check, and it is the EPA and DHA balance, all right? So just kind of recap everything, all right? Think of your food on a continuum, and that that goes with fats as well. All right, so we're going to want to eat more of things like avocado oil, extra virgin olive oil, seeds like chia, flax, hemp, pumpkin, and sesame seeds. All those things are great fat sources to have. Your cheese, if it's aged over 6 months, that's going to have all your probiotics and everything in there. So those are the fats that we want to eat more of. All right, some things that we can treat ourselves with every once in a while are things like sesame oil, coconut oil, dark chocolate. Okay, so that's one I treat myself with every once in a while as a fat, is dark chocolate. Cheeses that are aged less than 6 months we can have sometimes. And then like cream and flavored nut and peanut butters. So those are really good to have sometimes. But then the fats that we want to eat less of and less often, so maybe once a week or so, are things like butter because of saturated fat. Margarine, we talked about that, and those are high trans fats, so we want to avoid those as much as possible. And then just check your foods. Are they cooked in corn oil, soybean oil, sunflower, safflower, all those kind of oils? They're seed oils, and they're keeping your omega-6 ratio really, really high. So we want to cut down on those as much as possible. All right, guys, that is our omega-3 and omega-6 balance chat. Alice enjoyed it as well. I hope you did. If you need any help with your nutrition or your fitness, please reach out to myself or my husband Samuel. This is what we do. We educate clients on how to make nutrition choices that will help them reach their highest potential when it comes to nutrition. Gimmick free, all right? There are no gimmicks. It's just authentic, healthy food choices that'll help you reach your goals, all right? Along with that comes fitness programs that are personalized for you. So if you want to work out at home, you can do that. If you want to work out outside or at the gym, we will tailor that program to you and your lifestyle and your goals as well. And so if either of those are something that you need, along with some accountability, someone to talk to work through the emotional and psychological issues that come along with making major changes in your life, please let us know. We would love to help you out, okay? Just message myself or my husband Samuel. We'll help you out with that. All right, guys, that is all I have for today. We will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.